So now we can move to Carlos Ferreira. Welcome, Carlos. And tell us about your experience, your project, how is it going? Yeah. And also, what are the impacts of the project socially for the Calhão as well? Right?
Excellent, excellent. So thank you very much for having me in your meeting. As I said in the beginning, our project is related to aquaculture. Actually, I prepared a small PowerPoint. If you let me share the screen, I will try to just show you guys a few pictures. I mean, that will make you understand what I will explain a lot better if you let me share. It's also the right one. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yes, I see.
Okay, great. Well, we are the so-called Fazenda De Camarão. Fazenda De Camarão is a shrimp farm. It's a Brazilian terminology, fazenda, which is basically a farm. And camarão is, of course, shrimp. But like I said, we do more than just shrimp. We do shrimp and tilapia. And we call it a blue-green initiative. Blue-green, okay, blue. Why blue? It is related to the ocean. It is, you're gonna use seawater, or we're using seawater. We're getting a lot of what we need for the farming process from the ocean. So that is related to the blue economy, whatever has now to do, I mean, related to ocean. How can we use the oceans, of course, sustainably to develop our economy? There are a lot of talks about the blue economy going on in Cape Verde, going from fisheries to ports to connecting the islands with ships and so on. Everything that you can get from the ocean, you related it to blue economy. So our project is also a blue project. And green because we want to make it as sustainable as possible. So we want to do everything which is affordable to do in order to have, let's say, a natural product, an organic product, help the economy, but being sustainable, renewable energies and so on, decrease carbon footprint and call it green. And it is the sustainable shrimp and tilapia juveniles farm. You can see in the background, the picture, you see high mountains and you see a lot of ponds. From the picture, you don't get the feeling of how big it is. It is right now, I mean, what we call the wet area, I mean, the farming area, it's now around 25 hectares. So that is 250,000 square meters is quite big. So for you to have an idea what it is, Cape Verde, you all know the island of Sao Vicente, I think you also all know, but then you come over here to Calhão, okay? This little spot over here is Calhão. It's then where we have our farm. And it is being Cape Verde in the middle of the ocean and not having that much industry or agriculture around, you get a lot of pristine, pure ocean water that you're going to use in your farming process. And we use virgin soil where you had no agriculture before, no industry. So there are no pesticides in the ground. There are no fertilizers that you used back in the years. And like that, we're going to be able to have a very healthy product that people can actually enjoy, knowing it is sustainable. The capacity that we have installed will allow us to someday produce up to 200 tons of shrimp per year. Just for you to have an idea, we are already importing 150 tons of shrimp per year. Cape Verde is not producing any shrimp, or we started producing shrimp last year. But until then, Cape Verde was, all the shrimp that was eaten in Cape Verde was imported shrimp, okay? So this means if somewhere shrimp was also being produced not in a sustainable way, and we know that a lot of shrimp out there is produced not sustainable, but even worse is what we call the wild catch. The wild catch of shrimp is incredibly unsustainable. Just for you to have an idea, every single kilogram of shrimp that you actually catch using nets, for example, a majority of shrimp catching is done by using drag nets. You kill, for every kilo, you kill 10 kilos of marine life, being fish, algae, shrimp, or whatever. Everything that comes in the net is simply dead. So for you to catch 1 kilo of wild shrimp, you kill 10 kilos of marine life. So it is highly unsustainable. For Cape Verde, we wanted to combine these two things. Instead of importing shrimp that you don't have in Cape Verde, instead of importing shrimp, which is unsustainably produced or wild caught, you can produce your own very sustainable shrimp. That is the shrimp story. And then we have the tilapia farm. The tilapia will produce very small fish that can be used as live bait. Back in the days, majority of fishery was done by using a pole and line, a line and a hook and live bait to attract fish, okay? But then new techniques came around, large nets, long lines, and it is financially much more feasible to use huge gears to catch fish. But we also know it is highly unsustainable. I just put here a few pictures and numbers for you to have an idea. Today, we know that the existing fisheries fleet is 2.5 times higher than the amount of fish existing in the ocean, which means it is unsustainable. Today, when you talk to scientists regarding wild fisheries, they will tell you it's not a matter if it will collapse or not. I mean, fisheries, industrial fishing, it's not a matter if it will collapse or not. It is basically a matter of when it will collapse, okay? It could be in the next 10 years, it could be in the next 15 years. If everything goes wrong together with climate change, maybe it is within the next 5 years. So whatever you can do to make it more sustainable, you should try. Also, Cape Verde. So the idea of the tilapia farm is bring back old methods of fishing using live bait, where you can employ a lot of people. If you compare a pole and line vessel, I mean, people using a line and a hook and live bait, you can employ up to 20 times more people on a boat than using, for example, an industrial large net trawler, for example. So you will gain also in the aspect of jobs, okay? And you will use the sustainability issue to promote your catches as also being sustainable. Today we know that the consumer is developing himself to be a conscient, let's say, sustainable consumer, and he will be looking at sustainable projects. I believe we don't want to contribute to the declining process that our planet is undergoing. So if every one of us, not only us doing or building a farm for live bait or shrimp, but also you at home, if you don't buy unsustainable food, if you don't buy unsustainable seafood, you're contributing to a better planet. This is just a few slides of the products that we already have in the market and will have in the market. Sustainable tuna, sustainable shrimp, which you can already find in parts of Cape Verde. Before the pandemic, you could find it in almost all islands. Maybe only the island of Maio, Fogo, and Brava didn't made it yet to taste our shrimp. All the other islands have had the opportunity to taste our very tasty and sustainable shrimp, for example. Here I just give you an overview of everybody who is participating in this project. You see international companies from Brazil, from Germany, from the Netherlands, working in different aspects of the project, in renewable energies, in processing. But we got a little help, not a little help, a good help from the Netherlands government through a project called the PSI, Private Sector Investment Project, which financed part of the investment. They finance technology transfer, know-how, stuff like that. Here you have more or less a picture on how everything is placed around this half island. You have the ponds, you have a solar power plant, you have wind turbines, windmills, and we will have a water desalination unit, reverse osmosis unit. So for you to have an idea, all of that is being combined in one picture. I'm gonna shortly, move to another slide. Sorry. You can still see. Okay. Oh, here you can see this was just an animation, but now here you can see a real picture. You can see real solar panels. You can see real windmills which are already installed.
Carlos, we cannot see. Your picture is somehow.
Sorry?
Your picture is not a full picture. I think it's because of the animation.
Okay, then let me interrupt and start sharing again, and then you will come full. 1 second.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's not. Somehow it's not letting me share. I don't know why. Just a second.
It doesn't accept moving pictures.
1 second. Okay, I think I found it.
Make it static.
But now I don't see it here too. It doesn't let me share. I don't know why.
That's funny because I have let all the participants can share and all the participants can share when someone else is sharing. So
1 second. Okay, I got it. Now it's in.
Great, yeah.
Can you see it in full picture now?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, okay, sorry. Now, okay, back to the real picture, not the animation. You can see real solar panels. You can see real windmills, which are already installed and are being tested. And then I already spoke about the shrimp. I already spoke about the tilapia. And then we come to the, I call them the big winner of the project. It's the people around. Okay, especially women around. This is the social economical impact of this project. Actually, what we're doing is we're working close to the community. It's a community-based project. 80% of people working in the project are from the community of Calhão. And we're trying to make sure that 60% of the people working in the project are women. So that is a lot that women can actually do in this project. You can go to the ponds, you can feed the shrimp. Basically, you can do a lot of things. We have people from outside. I have, you know, international technicians, but I have people, let's say, from Mindelo, because they have a special expertise that you still don't find around. But we are working on it. For example, the guy who is supervising the whole technical installation of the solar panels, of the windmill, and newly we just started with the reverse osmosis system, is someone that we train, and he is here from the communities, and an electrician that from Calhão that will actually be responsible for the whole installation. And this is what we're doing together with the government through this 1.5 years that we're operating out here in Calhão. We were able to train now more than 80 people, you know, proper aquaculture training. So these people now really have a background on aquaculture. I'm not saying everything is running 100%, but there is a huge potential from people here that you can use. Especially you can use old fishermen. So we have people saying old, I mean, people in their 40s, people in their 50s, they used to be fishermen. They cannot fish anymore because there is not enough fish anymore for the whole community to go out and fish. But you can train them and they become aquaculturists. They still paddle on boats, they feed shrimp, and they catch shrimp like they used to do in the past in the wild, but now as an aquaculturist and not as a fisherman. So this related also to the small community of Calhão. I'm just gonna put you a few pictures that I'm hoping you can see. All these people, maybe 3 or 4 people are not from Calhão. You see a lot of women in the pictures. This is all people that we have trained. This is shrimp that we already harvest and sold in the market. And you see here very young girls that have been trained and work for the Fazenda De Camarão. And they have, we get them, we train them, and we fit them into the project. But you see, it's a very poor community with a lot of problems. You can see here, each one of these girls, I think the oldest one is 23. She already has 2 sons. This one is only 21 and she also has 2 sons. This one is 18, she just turned 18 and he has 1 daughter. All these create huge social economical problems in the community that we try to address by giving them jobs, empower them. So you have a lot of the, Tatiana, I think that's my, sorry, someone came in. Sorry, someone came in with me. Through empowering people, through giving people the opportunity of having their own money, you solve in parallel a lot of the problems that you have in the community. Sometimes you go to, let's say, a family which has problems. You have, for example, this young lady here already has 3 children from different fathers, and she's only 21. And she still lives with the latest father of the youngest kid, for example. But when you tell them, I mean, she's not being well treated. But when you tell them, well, why you still accept this situation? And they tell you, I have nowhere to go with my kids. I depend financially on this situation. There is no way to go. There's nothing that I can do about it. So you keep sustaining these problems within the community. And we believe that one way that you could bring people out of these social economic problems is by empower them. And we're trying to do this with the women. This is why we have 60% of our labor force women. Not only young women, you see here very young girls between 18 and 23, but we also have people over 40, people over 50 that have, I mean, in the structured society we're living today, they wouldn't have any other opportunity. Well, maybe they would have to catch a bus and go into town and serve as a housemaid and get a little money and pay 40% of that money in transportation because they need to go in town and come back. But these people, they wouldn't have any other possibility to actually make some money and empower themselves. And we're trying to reach this also with this project. Just a few more pictures on how we do our things. You see a lot of girls doing the proper work, you know, paddling the canoes, taking water samples, water parameters. They really train to do that. And you see here nursery tanks where we put our shrimps when they're really small. We breed our shrimps, so we need a larvae culture unit. We need microalgae to feed the larvae, and we do all this ourselves. The microalgae laboratory is run by a young female renewable energy female. You know, that gives us also a lot of, we're proud of her and gives us a lot of hope that women can actually take care of such situations. And coming to the challenges, just to close all this, to put up a project like this is very complex. It takes very long time. We're doing this now since 2009. So we are really 10 years working on implementing this project. And only in late 2019, we were able to bring the first shrimp into the market. If I sum up the biggest challenges we had over the years, I'll start with the money. It's incredibly hard to get money to invest. For you to have an idea at some point developing this, oh, sorry, this just went off. Okay, I have to go to the last slide. I was saying for you to have an idea how hard this is. At some point in 2016, we had to move forward with the project because if not, we would lose part of the finance that was already secured by the Dutch government. I had to take a bank loan paying 15% interest. Imagine, 15% interest. In Sweden, I think you might be able to get 2.5 or 3% interest in a loan, if that high, I mean, for an investment project. We had huge problems with technology, with know-how. We needed technology transfer, but know-how is extremely expensive. I have foreign technicians working right now in the farm. And you can imagine, you bring an engineer or a marine biologist that needs to work on the project, that needs to stay here for half a year. Or we have actually someone which is now 1.5 years here. You can imagine how much you have to pay to have that knowledge. For someone, for an engineer to come, for example, from Brazil and live here for 6 months. You can imagine how expensive that is. We had a lot of problems with energy, with having access to the grid, with paying the grid before with the energy from the grid, before we installed the the renewable energy project, which is lowering now our energy bill. The energy cost was already 40% of the production costs, because Cape Verde has one of the most expensive energy tariffs worldwide. For you to have an idea, we have partners from Brazil, also in the aquaculture sector. They pay for each kilowatt hour they use for their pumps, they pay 6 cents of the euro, 6 cents. I pay somewhere between 32 and 36 cents of a euro. So it's 4 to 5 times more. One day we will have to enter the international market, and we will have to compete with everyone out there also doing sustainable shrimp. But how can I compete if my energy costs are 5 times higher than, let's say, the competitor next to me from South America or from Asia? If I don't win them in quality, it will not be through labor or energy. Also, a big challenge is the logistics. The islands are still very, very isolated. And we have huge losses by not being able to timely have everything that we need for our production. I just lost, I think, half of my production in the larvae culture because I wasn't able to import through air freight Artemia cysts. I need Artemia cysts, which are eggs that I need to hatch and have a very small crustacean larvae that I feed small shrimp with. I wasn't able to import them, and I lost half of my production. And not because right now, because of the pandemic. This has happened in the past several times. So logistic is also a problem. And then we come to the public administration, which I call the fifth power. The public administration has a huge power in Cape Verde. The public administration is developing itself. It's getting better every day, but somehow it's gaining conscience and it's becoming a power which sometimes I say a little bit disconnected from the executive power. So what we face right now, this is my personal experience, is even if you have a very good executive power, you have a fine government, very active and competent ministers, but what the government wants and what the public administration is executing are two different things. We have a lot of problems with the public administration, which hasn't understand completely that the public administration is actually there to help the citizen. It's there to help investors. Is there to help promote the economy. And we face this struggle with the public administration, being in accessing the water grid, the energy grid, or importing our stuff through the customs, or dealing with the fiscal administration, or needing any authorizations from the maritime ministry. You always get a lot of problems because of high bureaucracy. I'm not against bureaucracy. Bureaucracy is good if it is a good bureaucracy, but most of the time you don't even understand why such bureaucracy is made or is still existing if it is not actually powering up the economy or the things that you need to do through economy. This is what I have to tell you. Thank you very much for letting me participate. I hope you like the project. If you want to know more about the project, let me know. If you want to contribute somehow to the project, you can through your association. We're hoping in 2021 to build a kindergarten for the young mothers that actually cannot work in the farm because they need to stay home because they have 2 small kids and they need to look over them. Then there's no one there that can take care of them. So they cannot take, even if it is a part-time job. So this would be something that maybe your association is interested in. And many other things we would be able to find along the communication that we can do together.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Carlos. It's very exciting, I must say, and requires a lot of energy. Yeah, that's really good. An applause.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, it's you need courage, and actually, I mean, these points that you're raising, the challenges, it's really logistics and bureaucracy. It's really hindering many ideas of developing. Or I mean, we have the program of entrepreneurship, I mean, the support to entrepreneurship, but still the conditions are not all in place to help them develop. Because you can have startups and then they never grow, they never go beyond the, let's say, a certain stage of development, and many times they even close because there is no conditions to. Yeah, thanks a lot. And I know that the time is, but still I think we could take 2 or 3 questions. And yeah, yes, Mikael, go ahead.
Yes, Carlos, you know my interest of your job, and hopefully I can get a little bit more time next time I will be in Mindelo, and hopefully you can invite me to get information about your plant. But one question, is this based on salt water or fresh water? I suppose salt water.
Sorry, Mikael, I can't hear you very well.
Is this based on salt water?
Oh, yes. We use ocean water. We have very large pumps.
Yep.
We pump the water from the ocean.
Yes.
And we use them on land-based ponds, the excavated ponds. So you have the water. Actually, we say we farm in a very high salinity environment, our shrimp. The water salinity, seawater salinity is about 36, 38 ppt, which is parts per thousand. We sometimes farm up to 55.
Okay.
And that's also the main reason that when you taste our shrimp, you will find a very strong, let's say, mollusk, let's say, you'll find it in some crabs living in water masses which are not completely combined to the sea, and the water gets very salty. When you taste this crab, you will see it's salty, and this sea flavor is very strong. You will find this in our shrimp, and you will like it very much.
Yeah. But this this tilapia, isn't that also a sweet water fish?
Yes. Well,
yeah, because
tilapia is originally, let's say, a freshwater species. But there is one strain of tilapia, which we call the tilapia mozambica, which can actually survive very high salinities. Okay. And the tilapia mozambica is now combined to normal strains of tilapia. And we were able also, together with technicians from the Netherlands, to develop a strain which is high salinity tolerable. Okay, you can have this tilapia surviving up to 40 ppt salinity. You see, seawater has 36, 38. So this tilapia can actually support more than seawater salinity, a little bit more. You cannot go higher, but up to 40 ppt salinity would still be okay for this type of tilapia strain.
because this is breeding very much in Thailand. And tilapia is breeding very much in Thailand in freshwater.
Yes.
And
the breeding process needs to go through lower salinity water. You cannot just put them in high salinity, 40 ppts, 45 ppts, and have tilapia breeding through. So you need to lower the salinity for you to be able to sustain, let's say, rootstock and a reproduction unit for that. But we do the same thing with the shrimp.
oh, okay.
The shrimp, for you to be able to run a maturation, larvae culture in a nursery, what we do is we decrease the salinity. We get water salinity at 36, 38 ppt. We decrease it to 30 ppts, and then we run the reproduction of the species.
Okay, interesting.
Which goes from the egg hatching to the first, what we call larval phases, 3, 4 different larval phases, and then they become the post larvae, and then they are acclimatized to full water salinity strength, and then you transfer them to the ponds.
All right, interesting.
Okay.
More or less the brief process.
Okay, thanks. We move on. 1 or 2 questions at once, and then Carlos, you can answer.
Okay.
Yes, is there?
Actually, it's not a question, Carlos. As a friend, as someone who knows you since ever, I just want to state, brother, that I'm really proud of you, because this is a huge project that brings sustainability to the island, to Calhão. And as you know, since I came back from Saudi Arabia, I've been representing the Cape Verde Trade Invest in the northern countries. So one of my challenges is to support you here with the finance and all the know-how. And from your 5 points that you mentioned, I can tell you that about logistics, we have a new company from a Norwegian company from Norway, starting, and it's the ones that I put you in contact. So they're gonna start a huge farm agriculture in Flamengo zone. They are not a competitor. They will be your partner, because they have this blue fin, is a special kind of fish. And as they are a huge company, they have their own boats and planes. So they will be exporting all their products to Europe on a daily basis, or 3-4 times a week. So that's why they want to meet you, in order to support you to export your shrimps. And I'm looking forward to see them in our market here in Sweden, so we can promote it as well, because one of my jobs as well is to promote Cape Verde, the products, and to increase the exportation. So count on me, brother. I'm here to support you, and very proud. My regards to your father as well. And Luis, if I'm so proud, I can imagine you feeling in the other side as well, brother. Good luck, man.
Thank you very much. I
Connecting dots, huh?
Yeah.
Connecting dots. This is important.
Exactly.
Huh? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Any more questions or comments? Yes? Okay. But then we stop here. We're very happy to have you both here with us. It has been, at least myself, I appreciate this very much. These updates and reflections, and wow, it's very positive things, and many challenges. But that's development. Development is like this. You solve one problem, you get another one. You keep on going, right? So that's it's just to keep up the strength and the spirit to move on. Yes. Thank you.